Up, got great guests joining us throughout the hour, but we're going to start off with our Ringside All-Star who's with us. You can check it out at BayouBuzz.com, the live video stream on this Google Hangout, or right here on the airways, 990 AM and WGSO.com. Each day in the program, we have a Ringside All-Star join us. On Tuesdays, it's the publisher of BayouBuzz.com, Steve Saladowski, who's with us right now. And Steve, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Jeff, and yourself. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Doing great. So thanks for being with us. Steve, I know we're going to get into local issues, talk about the legislative session, talk about our governors who were at a forum at Loyola the other day that you went to. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend, but let's start off by talking about Obamacare. Today, of course, we're hearing that the administration did reach their goal of $7 million, but unanswered questions about how many are actually paying for it, how many are the young, what is it, the impact on the uninsured, et cetera, et cetera. So your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, happy April Fool's Day. But I heard some of your callers, and I do have some response, and that is that I still think it's very early. I mean, Obama hit 7 million, or roughly, as I understand. That about 10 to 20% of those have not paid yet. I'm sure that that will change one way or the other. So these are uncertainties. But to say that there's no change, which is what I heard one of your callers, the last caller, I believe. There's no change. I think there are major changes, many of them for the positive, and some of them, for the uncertainty, and some of them, I think, also for the negative. But just in terms of the positive, let me just say this. I think, again, and I've said this before, but I do believe it's a real positive to be able to have portability and not be tied to your employment for insurance. That is a major plus in my mind. Secondly, the pre-existing conditions, that's a major plus. The cost in terms of premiums, I've done a lot of research on that, and overall, the costs in premiums, and the overall costs are, either lower, the same, or a little bit above.
All right, well, let me just say this. That's disputed by the CEO of the Cleveland Clinic, who says 75% will be paying more. So your research is at odds with this expert at the Cleveland Clinic.
Well, I understand that, and so many people claim to be experts about these things, and they have no personal experience in terms of going to the website. I mean, I hear people all the time.
Well, but this guy's with the Cleveland Clinic. I mean, he's an expert in healthcare. I mean, that's not some Joe off the street.
No, I understand that, but there are a lot of other people, I think, who would disagree with that. And the other thing is that, the person from Cleveland Clinic, I don't know if they've actually mentioned about the cap. Okay, in terms of what the cost is to the insured in the event they have a major healthcare situation, and I mean, it is capped per individual and per family. Now, in the past you had the copay and you had the coinsurance, and you're talking about 20%, 30% every time you had anything. This is a cap. Now, my issue is whether or not it's going to affect the what the cost is going to be to the federal government, and that's something. I mean, I'm not an economist. I don't know, but until people who
I think the cost to the American families, I'm worried about if 75% are paying more, and we heard several callers who related horror stories.
Yeah, and I've
their
heard
premiums going up $400 a month, doubling. Now, my question is, I mean, where are these people going to get this extra money? I mean, these are people that are working hard, they've succeeded. Now they're going to be having to pay double what they have been paying for health insurance. That's going to have a negative effect on the economy, Steve. Let's say they're not going to have that kind of money then to be able to take their family out, to be able to go out to dinner, go to a movie, go on vacation. I mean, they're not going to be able to just suck it up.
Jeff,
I mean, that's something that's going to have a negative impact.
Sure, yeah. Those people who are paying double, yeah. But have you asked people who are not paying double? Have you asked people who are paying equal to less? I mean, have you talked to those people also? And by the way, wait. And by the way, have you
They
asked
didn't call in with any story. I've yet to hear someone say, "Oh, well, they're paying a lot less," but I'm sure that, I mean, they're welcome to call in and tell me that. What about people that don't believe they should be forced to do this? So what about the whole issue of freedom in this country? Why should we be forced by the government, Steve,
Jeff,
to buy this type of insurance?
there's a lot of things that we are forced to do that I'm not crazy about. I mean, you and I disagree in terms of, say, right to life. And, personally, I think that when the government tells a woman what to do with her own body, that's forcing her to do what she wants. Now you can justify it and say, well, the Bible says this, but you can justify the other side too.
We do have laws protecting innocent life. You can't go up and murder somebody, shoot them. I mean, you have repercussions for that. I consider an unborn baby to be a life. So I don't think you should have the right to kill an unborn baby. So the same way that you're protecting a person who's walking down the street, I think you should be protecting a child in the womb.
Well, Jeff, not everybody agrees with you on that issue, I must tell you. And in fact, I think
science is moving in that direction, Steve. Science is moving in that direction.
I think the majority of the people in this country totally disagree.
No, they're becoming more pro-life, Steve.
Well, the bottom line is that it is a coercion, okay? Government is saying don't do something, okay? Whatever the justification is. And
you can't drive on the wrong side of the road. You can't pass, through red lights without getting a ticket. You can't go up and slug somebody. Right. Those are certain things that the government does to protect order, correct?
And there are some things that government does to protect order on the other side, too.
But the government shouldn't be forcing you to buy a product. I don't think the government should force me to go out and buy a certain type of cereal. I don't think the government should be forcing me to go out and purchase this product called health insurance.
Government is doing a lot of things. Again, in my mind at least, I wish there was not government forcing anybody to do anything. And by the way, in terms of this year, I think it's 1%, or roughly $100 or so, and you still have 7 million people. So I think that this is going to play out. I don't think we have all the facts, and I really think that those people who think they know, they really ought to go onto the website and they really ought to see exactly what the prices are. But
Steve, what if they tried to go on the website yesterday, couldn't get on? I mean, this thing was glitched, filled most of the day yesterday. What if they're trying to get on the website but can't?
Jeff, you're gonna find issues with everything on Obamacare and Obama. Any opportunity that you have. I mean, you've had how many months now since October 1 to get on the website?
But how many times has the website been out? I mean, the website's been glitch filled from the beginning. I mean, you have to agree the launch was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
And then it took them months to get it right, and then they had continuing problems.
And it will. But they also got over 7 million people, as I understand. Okay, and so all I'm saying is that there are.
We don't know how many of them paid, Steve.
Well, as I understand, 10 to 20%, and those people who don't pay, don't pay. Okay. And they won't have insurance.
Where did you get that figure? Because I've been searching for a verifiable figure, and Senator Barrasso was saying last night on Fox he didn't have that figure.
No, where
did you get that?
That was on CNN today, and
where'd they get it?
I think that was confirmed by the administration. Again, I said 10 to 20%. Based upon what
that's a big,
said.
Wide.
Yeah, it is.
Range.
Okay, but a couple of weeks ago, what I heard was, oh my God, only 2 million people, 3 million people, 4 million people. Now it's up to 7 million.
Well, when you pull out all the stops, Steve, of course. When you have the president on web shows and on Ellen and on ESPN, when you got Kobe, I mean, when you got LeBron, when you got all these athletes pushing it, I mean, of course this thing's going to reach the number. I mean, I admitted on the show I thought it was going to reach the number.
Well, Jeff, the thing is that you have just as many people on the other side who have never been to the website and who have no idea what the prices are for insurance, who are saying just the opposite. So, regardless, this is going to play out. Okay,
All
this
right.
is going to play out. And
let's take some calls, Steve. We've got our opinions that have been made. Let's see what others have to say. 504-556-9696. All right, let's get to all these calls. Let's start off, Daryl, with our good buddy Fergus from Florida. How you doing, Mr. Fergus? Good morning, sir.
I'm doing great, Jeff. Mate, I just had to weigh in. In some ways, this discussion saddens me and infuriates me because, as you know, I came to the United States to be a freer man, and here we have these socialist control freaks pushing this Obamacare down our throats. I'm one of the people who had his own private medical insurance, major medical, and its price went up. And you want me to go on these government exchange plans? I don't want anything to do with the federal government. I think they're a criminal organization.
All right, hang on, Steve. Let him make his point, and then we'll go back to you. Go ahead, Fergus.
Yeah, and look, Steve, this debate about whether it's going to save money or increase costs, it's ridiculous. As Jeff said, what about just personal freedom? I don't want to be involved with it. I want you people to leave me alone. I don't know how these socialists don't get it. And in terms of it lowering costs, if we have to mention that debate, it's just ridiculous. There's nothing in this plan that increases the number of doctors, that increases the availability of medicines, that does anything to actually lower costs. It's all more people into the same queue. That's what's going to lead to rationing, as we have in Canada. Jeff, it just really saddens me that we have to even enter into this debate. It's totally unconstitutional. It's totally un-American. It's just ridiculous. I'll just leave it at that, okay?
Well, and I'll just say ditto. I'll just say, well said, my friend. Steve, how do you respond to Fergus?
Well, I guess the Supreme Court will disagree with him regarding the constitutionality, and disagree with you also, Jeff. So that's number one. Number two, in terms of being socialist, you haven't seen socialists, okay? Basically, if you're talking about single pay, now that's a whole lot closer to social. This was a compromise, and the private industry is involved in this. I mean, you're not paying to the government; you're paying to private industry. So, it's not the best of worlds. It is not. The best of worlds would have been the insurance companies on their own, okay, with Republicans and Democrats actually.
Let me ask you.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. The best of world would have been for the insurance companies to have said, okay, fine. You want pre-existing conditions? Here's the cost. You want a cap on co-insurance and co-pay? Okay, fine. We'll give it to you. That's not what they did, and this is a reaction to them.
504-556-9696. I think we're going to see another reaction, Steve. I think that reaction is going to come in November of 2014 when Americans, every poll I've seen show Americans don't like this. Americans never. Well, it's still, Steve. Even you give us the best numbers in the world, it's still below 50%. You keep hoping that these numbers will go up. Every poll that I have seen since this thing has been launched show the majority of Americans are opposed to it. This thing, Steve, was not wanted by the American people. We didn't ask for this. This was crammed down our throat by a bunch of Democrats. You don't change legislation like this, Steve, change America like this without a bipartisan bill. Okay, The fact that you didn't have one Republican voting for this, you didn't have any bipartisan input at all, is I think, a disaster. One of the reasons why this thing is, in my opinion, doomed to failure.
I understand that, Jeff, and it's a shame that there wasn't bipartisanship, and hopefully we'll do a whole lot better than that. But I heard the same thing about, that there will be a revolution. There was no revolution, by the way, in the presidential election in 2012. In fact,
what happened in 2010? I think Republicans took over Congress.
And they did, and they may do it this time. And you're right. I mean, people may say, hey, look, this thing is not working. I hate it. Let's go back. And on the other hand, as I understand it, what's happening is people are not saying to just get rid of it. What they're saying is to fix it. Okay?
Fix it. What does government fix, Steve? What does government fix? Government breaks. Government makes problems worse. I don't think government fixes anything. I just have a total disagreement with you. Let's take some more calls. Vince joins us in Diamond Head. Hey, Vince, how are you? Good morning.
Hey, Jeff, what you just said is 100% right. Government doesn't fix anything. They break things. I don't care about 6 million, 7 million. Number one, I don't believe anything that comes from this administration. But that's not the point. the point is, this thing was done because we supposedly had 30 million uninsured. Now, the CBO has come out. I don't understand why people don't understand this. The CBO has come out and said in 10 years, we're still going to have 30 million uninsured, and it's going to cost us almost $2 trillion. I don't know what to say.
Where are we going to get that $2 trillion,
Right.
Vince? Where's that going to come from?
And we'll still have 30 million uninsured.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And Steve, how would you answer that? This was all about supposedly insuring the uninsured. There's nothing on the website, according to Senator Barrasso, that asks whether you're uninsured or not. And as Vince pointed out, we're still supposed to have 30 million uninsured after a few years. So what about that whole angle? I mean, I thought this whole thing was about giving insurance to those who don't have any.
Well, that's one of the things that it's about. And like I told you when I first started this today, was that there are a lot of uncertainties, and that is uncertainty. Like I said, I'm not an economist. I don't know. I know what the CBO says, and by the way, just to make it local, the Department of Health and Hospitals here in Louisiana has said that that basically, if there's a Medicaid extension, it's actually going to save the state money, and yet the governor's going the other way. So, if you look at what government is saying in terms of CBO or the Department of Health and Hospitals and what they're reporting, I mean, we don't know. That's all right.
Hang on, Steve. We got to take a brief time out. More with Steve Sabatowski. More of your phone calls. Jeff Crouere here. It's Ringside WGSO. By the way, now we're being told that Louisiana callers are suffering a 2-hour wait to sign up for Obamacare. So I guess not only were the websites problematic, but the phone lines were too. We'll take more of your phone calls when we come back. 504-556-9696 to join us. Let's take care of some business right here on WGSO.
For the absolute best when it comes to AC and heat, River City Air Express. Fair and honest Lucas and the boys at River City Air Express are AC and heating experts that come when you need them. River City Air Express, 841-3300.
990 AM.
Young's Dry Cleaning with absolutely free pickup and delivery. East Bank, West Bank, home or office, they pick up your dirty stuff and bring it back perfectly dry clean. Get on the free pickup and delivery list at Young's Dry Cleaning today. Call 288-8381.
Austin's Seafood and Steakhouse. From fresh Louisiana seafood to mouth-watering fresh-cut prime steaks and delectable Italian dishes. Austin's offers an extensive wine list and a fully stocked bar located at 5101 West Esplanade. Casual upscale dining in the heart of Metairie. Serving dinner Monday through Saturday from 5 to 10 p.m. Have your next event with Austin's. Banquets, luncheons, or rehearsal dinners. For reservations, please call 888-5533. Austin's, a true dining experience. Don't forget, now open, Cheeseburger Eddie's.
Can someone take a recorded statement of you without your permission? In some cases, yes. I'm attorney Greg DeLeo. Louisiana's Electronic Surveillance Act allows any person, not the police, to tape or intercept a phone call or face-to-face communication as long as the person recording the conversation is a party to it. Otherwise, both people have to consent or it's illegal. You should never consent to give a statement without legal advice, but if you do, you have the right to get a copy of it upon demand. So you can record your own conversations with anyone. For example, you can take a recorder with you into a business meeting. As long as you know it's being recorded, it doesn't matter if the other parties to the conversation don't know or consent to it. Now, whether you can use such a statement legally in a court of law, that's a different matter. I'm attorney Greg DeLeo, and this has been your Legal Minute. For more information, you can email me. Visit my website at gregdeleo.com. That's Greg DeLeo, DILEO.com. Or you can call me at 504-522-3456. That's 504-522-3456.
You can catch more flies with honey, but who the heck wants flies? If something's bugging you, Ringside Politics with a Punch is on the air now. Give Jeff Crouere a call at 556-9696.
All right, Steve Sabatowski with us, publisher of BayouBuzz.com. Steve, we have limited time, and a lot of people want to chime in, so can we take some of these calls?
Sure, thank you.
All right, let's go to Livewire. What's going on, Livewire? Good morning, sir.
What's kind of comical to me is, let's be conservative and say there's 250 million Americans minimum, and then if you want to count illegal aliens, there's some more. Well, now only 7 million people now are insured under. I mean, on this new plan anyway. Since again, there were people that had their own plans that they enjoyed, and they were supposedly to be able to keep it. But it's just the numbers to me. Only 7 million out of 250 million people now have this forced insurance, this socialist insurance. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Steve, Livewire is saying, hey, the numbers aren't that impressive when you look at, I mean, our total population is actually 330 million.
Yeah, well, again, you know, anytime somebody says socialist in describing something that is a private, you know, we're doing business with the not with the government, but we're doing business with private vendors like Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, I have a real difficult time discussing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, let's talk, you know, facts rather than try to, you know, put political labels on them. Now, okay. in terms of the numbers, you know, that's something. Like I said, I'm looking at what the cost is. That's all I am looking at in terms of, you know, questions. Well,
the estimate was it was going to cost $2 trillion, as pointed out by Vince. So where's that? Where are we going to get that money?
Again, that's something that I'm not going to dispute. Okay, and I told you earlier that there are some things that are uncertain that you and I don't know. I mean, we hear what people say, we hear what different organizations say, but those things are projected in the future. We just don't know.
All right, let's go back to the phone call. Steve, we'll try to get everybody in. Our friend Miss Rainbow joining us. Hey, Rainbow, how are you? Good morning.
Good. How are you gentlemen doing today?
All right, Rainbow.
Good. Steve, you're talking about cost cutting and costs, and Jindal is not signing up for the Medicare or Medicaid, whatever it is. Medicaid, sir? Mm-hmm. Sir, is that Medicaid?
Medicaid, yeah. He didn't sign up for the Medicaid expansion.
Okay. Steve, do you know why he didn't do that?
I have my opinion. I mean, I have my opinion in terms of why he didn't do it.
Well, what's your opinion?
He's running for president. You know, certainly a Republican and from the Deep South certainly would not be able to become president, a Republican, if that person accepted the Medicaid expansion.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Sure.
But I had read that he is not going to sign up for it because it's going to cost us more money in the long run because the price will keep going up.
Yeah, but his own department, the Department of Health and Hospitals, came up with a report saying to the contrary. And, you know, so ask the THH. I mean, you know, they said that there'd be a saving of, I think it was $1.5 billion over 10 years. Again, I'm not. There's some things that really disturb me about this. And okay,
you seem to really like it, Steve.
I like a lot of things that are being done. Okay? I like a lot of things being done. I wish it would have been done differently. I wish it had been done differently. But
all right, my friend, with that, we got to roll. Steve Zabudowski, thank you so much. We got a lot more to cover here in the remaining segments of the program. Hang on. It's WGSO.
This is Michael Savage. Join me in the Savage Nation, weeknights, 9 p.m. to midnight.